All right, Shalom, Shalom. Barakatha Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles, elder bishops here at Great Millstone. Shalom to you, Akim. All right, who are pushing the work in truth and sincerity. All right, so the name of this one, okay, is These Times Were Made for Us. Okay, these times were made for us. All right, and as we know, things are becoming more difficult. As we always say, starting with our apostles and elders, elder bishops, we always go into the times that we're coming into, how these times, are going to be less comfortable, you know, which, you know, this isn't our rest. All right. So, of course, we shouldn't be comfortable. We shouldn't be comfortable, especially with the things that's going on in the world. You know, as the scriptures say, man, you got the vilest men essentially, all right, walking on all sides. Let's see if I can find it really quick. Yep. Psalms 12 and 8, it says, the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. Right. And you have the vilest men, the elite Edomites, who are in power, and things are, essentially, as far as the wicked is concerned, they're just spread wide and far, Okay. So it ain't nothing but wicked men, all right, who are in the world, all right, and who, have control and power, all right. But again, the Lord didn't put us in these times to destroy us. He put us in these difficult times to make us perfect. These times were made for us, okay? These times were made for us. It's going to perfect the elect. It's going to make boys into men, all right? It's going to rid the world of the phonies, okay? And the Lord is essentially about to try every man's work for what it is, as it says in Corinthians. Let me get that. All right, 3 and 9. And that reads here, it says, yeah, I could start at verse 9, but the point being in 11 and through 13. So it says, for we are laborers together with the Most High. Ye are God's husbandry. Ye are God's building. All right. So the Lord dwells within us, okay, according to the grace of God, which is given unto me as a wise master builder. I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. All right, and it's the same. The same for this truth. All right, we have men who had laid the foundation, and we're just building on that foundation. Right. It says, but let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. Right. So you got to take heed on how you building upon other men's foundation. Okay, because it says here, for other foundation can no man lay that is laid, which is Yahushua Mashiach. So it's of him, it's of his spirit. Okay. And that's what we're just adding to the building. Okay, we're just adding to the foundation. And we must be fitly joined and put in place. All right. Okay. And that's why it's important that we continue in the things that we've learned. Okay. So now if any man build upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stone, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare. So what day? Okay. That day of testing, the day of trial, the day of temptation, our temptation. Okay. So because it shall be revealed by fire. All right. And this is what we're heading into. Fire. Fire is synonymous with affliction. All right. Trial. Okay. Because ultimately it has a purpose, right? It says, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. All right. Okay. So it's going to try every man's work, not just, the elect. Okay. But it's going to try all men. Okay. and most likely they're going to be wood, hay, or stubble. Anyone outside of the elect. Okay. So the Lord has made these times, all right, the times that we live in, these dangerous times, Salakia. I don't know why that happened. Okay. These dangerous times that we're going into, right? He have made them perfect for us. I'm just trying to slide this down really quick. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Right. So he has made it perfect for us because what? He has a purpose for us, and that's refining us and you know, refining us to his liking. All right. I don't know why it keeps doing this. Wow. I'm just trying to bring the screen down a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to bring the screen down. That's it. Now I'm doing all this extra stuff. All right, so I'm trying to. Okay, well, yeah, I can still click on it anyway. But anyway, all right, just some things, some things that some more information, I guess you could say, what Esau is doing and how he's moving. It's just showing you, his the power that the Lord has given him, right? And the power that he's given him is to put the world in straits. Okay. And it's really set up to uh, restrict us from falling away, right? So there's a level of reality that kicks in, with all of this, the that's being revealed about, how Esau's. We see him basically coming in as a flood, all right, and so this is, prompting us to, be more spiritually aware, be more spiritually on point. Okay. Because if you're not on point, then you can be had, you can be taken. And whatever his wiles are, and that's why the doctrine was always important. This truth was always important. It was never a game. It was never nothing that we should have been playing with and taking lightly, like most have. Okay. Because the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding was what shall be. It says knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times, right? Okay, let me just cue that up really quick. All right, Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord Yahweh is his treasure. So the Lord had made it to where we don't have no other choice but to trust in him. All right. Because that level of reality that's kicking in is kind of spawning somewhat of, a lot of pressure, you know. Um, of course, we've been looking for these times and these things to appear, but, the game is on, so to speak, now. Now there's pressure, for you to be more on point, for you to be more vigilant, for you to be more circumspect, for you to be more single minded towards the Lord, for you to be mostly worried about the world to come and not be too focused and too time consumed with this world and the pleasures of this world and the pressure from this world and trying to be of this world when this world is fading away. Right. So all of those pressures coming. Okay. And it's kind of it is leading us into straits. Okay. Because the Lord's going to have it where you're not going to be able to, like the elders say, our comforts, many of our comforts are going to be taken away. Well, those things are for, for you as it's set up. All right. I got notes here. It's set up as a spiritual guardrail. Okay. for you not to go off the deep end. It's set up for as a spiritual guardrail to keep you in the way. Okay, and this is how we have to look at this. Okay, so let's keep going. All right, I wanted to bring this out. All right, just to show you. All right, what that reality, that pressure that we got to deal with, because this is what this is some of the technology Esau is going to be using as he's coming in as a flood. All right, as he's as the scriptures say, he knoweth that he had but a short time. All right, here, let's just get it. Revelations 12:12. And we come out with this all the time, but now we're seeing in real time what this actually means. Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. And Esau is mobilizing, and he's moving all sorts of proud. His stance in it right now is that he's on the offense. Okay, making a Department of Defense, Department of the Department of War, which shows you they're now about to initiate. Okay, and they have already chosen their targets. And we know for the most part that's our people. All right, and that's what for the longest we've been talking about Jacob's trouble and what's coming to you tribes. All right, and that this devil is going to truly show his horns. Now he knows that he have a short time. I mean, he's doing this because he has a short time. Why? Because he's seen something in the firmament. He's seeing the signs and the prophecies take place. So his response is what? Well, he has to fight for what he's sustained. He has to fight for what he has garnered unto himself, in this kingdom, slaves, a massive amount of wealth. Okay. And of course, he's done it through all deceit. All right. And now it's coming upon him. That righteousness, that eternal righteousness is now bringing that, that fair, equitable judgment towards him. Right. And his response is to just go on a tear, come down with great wrath, because he knows that he had but a short time. All right. And so this is definitely going to bring the world into straits. All right. And Salaki, if I'm, repeating certain statements, but let's continue. All right. So Lavender and Where's Daddy? All right. Okay. How Israel used AI to form kill lists. All right. And bomb Palestinians in their homes. All right. And if you think this is not coming to America, well, you really ain't aware of what's about to take place. Right. And this is what we've been warning. Okay. So fair use, fair use, fair use. I want to play this, and this is just for educational purposes only. All right.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The Israeli publications Plus 972 magazine and Local Call have exposed how the Israeli military used artificial intelligence, known as Lavender, to develop a kill list in Gaza that includes as many as 37,000 Palestinians who were targeted for assassination with little human oversight. The report is based in part on interviews with 6 Israeli intelligence officers who'd firsthand involvement with the AI system. 972 reports, quote, Lavender has played a central role in the unprecedented bombing of Palestinians, especially during the early stages of the war. In fact, according to the sources, its influence on the military's operations was such that they essentially treated the outputs of the AI machine as if it were a human decision. A second AI system, known as Where's Daddy, tracked Palestinian men on the kill list. It was purposely designed to help Israel target individuals when they were at home at night with their families. One intelligence officer told the publications, quote, we were not interested in killing operatives only when they were in a military building or engaged in military activity. On the contrary, the IDF bombed them in homes without hesitation as a first option. It's much easier to bomb a family's home. The system is built to look for them in these situations, they said. Today, we spend the hour with the Israeli investigative journalist Yuval Abraham, who broke the story for 972 and Local Call. It's headlined Lavender, the AI machine directing Israel's bombing spree in Gaza. I spoke with Yuval Abraham yesterday and began by asking him to lay out what he found.
Yeah, thank you for having me again, Amy. It is a very long piece. It's 8,000 words. And we divided it into 6 different steps. And each step represents a process in the highly automated way in which the military marked targets since October. And the first finding is Lavender. So Lavender was designed by the military. Its purpose was, when it was being designed, to mark the low-ranking operatives in the Hamas and Islamic Jihad military wings. That was the intention, because Israel estimates that there are between 30 to 40,000 Hamas operatives, and it's a very, very large number. And they understood that the only way for them to mark these people is by relying on artificial intelligence, and that was the intention. Now, what sources told me is that after October 7th, the military basically made a decision that all of these tens of thousands of people are now people that could potentially be bombed inside their houses, meaning not only killing them, but everybody who was in the building, the children, the families. And
this devil's become aimless, he's just out for blood, to get what they want. And they're going to go on a tear. They're going to go on this hysterical, kill binge, all right, to sustain what they have stolen in the earth. So, that's pretty much it, man. It's just showing you somewhat of the reality that you got to deal with in this world and the mindset, all right, behind it. Okay, because they're going to introduce Palantir, all right, to America, all right, and they're going to be using somewhat the same tactics now. And they might not be drone striking, or who knows, but it just shows you the straits. It shows you, the difficult times, all right, the fearful times, the dangerous times, as the scriptures say, that we were going to have to face, all right, in the end. But these things ain't to destroy us, all right. They're simply, all right, to, how can I say it? They're simply here to, what the scriptures say, the Lord is the author and finisher of our faith, right? So the Lord has perfectly set this thing up so that we can, essentially, be purged, all right, and hold things tight until he comes, all right. So here, let me see what I got next. I got a precept next, all right, which is Hebrews, all right. So don't take it as an opportunity. Don't take it as the Lord, damn, we might get destroyed, we ain't got no hope. No, take it as the Lord's chastening. Take it as the Lord's straightening, all right? Because we're going to have to hold on to what is really true. We're going to have to really believe in the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai in these times, and then our belief is going to justify us. Our hope is going to justify us. Our faith is going to justify us in the end, okay? So Hebrews 12:6, it says, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth. All right, and to chasten something is to pretty much, here, let's do this. Okay, let's go on Edamon online. They don't have chasten, but to chasten. All right. So here the word is inflict trouble or pain on for the purpose of correction. All right. And the Lord is what? He's correcting us in a way. All right, let me get this one, Ecclesiastes. So that our minds will be right in the times to come. All right. It's Ecclesiastes 7:3. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better, meaning your mind. Right? Your mind is being made better. Your mind is thinking more on a moral level. All right. You're not thinking about pleasures. You're not thinking about things, all right, that pretty much have you, um, I'll say in the line of fire, because there's a lot of things, as in the scriptures say, give you a list of things that, you know, you can't be, all right. How can I say this? It's a list, like in Corinthians, it says, don't you know the blasphemer, the concupiscent, the adulterer, the fornicator shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Right. So these things are essentially nothing more than a spiritual guardrail to keep us from that. All right. It's keeping us in line. Okay. And that's what the Lord is doing here. Okay. And he's using Esau to do it, ultimately to bring about our perfection. Okay. It says, and scourgeth every son. Lord willing, this is making sense. It says, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. Right. So we all got to go through it, and we can't hold each other hands. We got to deal with the chastening of the Lord. Right. It says, if you endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as sons, as with sons. And for what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? All right. Let's see if I can go more into this word chasten. It says the word, it replaced obsolete verb chas to correct someone's behavior. All right. It says to punish. Okay. The word here, chastise, to inflict pain upon, to punish, to recall, and recall to duty. Okay, so he's punished us and recalling us to duty, because what is our duty? Is ultimately to serve the Lord. The scriptures talk about the whole duty of man is what? Yeah, I think it's in Ecclesiastes 12. Yep. It's Ecclesiastes 12:13. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, fear the Most High, and keep his commandments. Right. And when you remember, I always reflect on the wilderness, because that's one of the biggest lessons we learn from in the scriptures, how they were in the wilderness. Playful, they were dismissive, they lightly esteemed the Lord, they held his word to no importance, they didn't remember. All right. It says, for this is the whole duty of man. Okay. And our whole purpose is to what? Fear the Most High. Remember, right? Call to mind, hold him in high esteem, reverence him. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Here we go. A little bit more. All right. To warn, advise, instruct, chastise, admonish, punish. I like this one right here. To set or keep right. All right. And the Lord is keeping us right. All right. Through these tests, these trials, these things that we're going to have to go through, because the scriptures say, well, he brought a third part through the fire. And that fire is going to be, that's part of Jacob's trouble, because 2/3 are going to be weeded out. All right. And it's going to be the time of our saving, Jeremiah 30:7. But he shall save us out of it, and this the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. That's the elect. All right. So let's see what we have here. Oh, okay. Because I got a list right now. Okay. All right. Yeah, so the Lord, allows his beloved to face difficulties, so that we may grow. All right, in righteousness. All right. Okay. And the Lord has made it so that we're going to be, what he wants, and how he wants it. So next precept is Psalms 119. 67. And it reads, it says, before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now have I kept thy word. Right. So without the affliction, what? You're going to go astray. But when you are afflicted, it keeps you in on all sides. It keeps you, you know, it keeps you in a mind frame of having your eyes single. Okay. Because everything around you is, you know, pretty much cut off from you. You know, it is like we're being restricted. It is like we're on restriction. We're on punishment for the time being until the Lord comes. Okay. And if we're found to be faithful, then the Lord's going to show us favor in the time to come. All right. Okay. So verse 71, it says, it is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. You see? So the affliction is you're gonna learn those statutes because what? All right. You ain't thinking about all the joyous things. You're not in the festive spirit. There's a reason why. Okay. To keep you on the right path. So next precept is Deuteronomy, and I'm gonna try to close on this one. Well, not this one exactly. I got a few more. So Deuteronomy 8:2, and it reads, it says, and thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord Yahweh thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee and to prove thee. You see? So what you think this is set up for? All right, on the second Exodus, or this last Exodus. All right, it's to humble us and reprove us. Okay? Jacob's trouble is set up to humble and to reprove, or to prove you. Excuse me. All right, to know what was in thine heart, right? Whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. That's what the hour of temptation. That's what the hour of temptation is set up for. Who truly believes? Who are the true worshipers? Okay. You know, and we can only hope, we can only pray that, you know, we're part of that number, because you don't know exactly what you're gonna do. We can talk all day and say what we're gonna do, you know. But your heart might change if you're weak to, you know, something in this world that you're not willing to let go. Okay. All right. And you got to be willing to let all things go for the sake of the kingdom. All right. And this is for all the marbles. All right. Verse 3, it says, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna. He suffered them to hunger. And what happened? They complained. They murmured. Right. But on this time, we're supposed to know that what? The Lord got us regardless. You know. And that's what he want to see. He want to see the faithful. He want to see those who are truly rooted in faith and are guided by hope. Not those who are, you know, who have the material and they got pride in what they have. The Lord's going to punish you for your pride. Okay? Because nobody is really worthy to stand before him. All right? Especially without a very contrite and low spirit. Because the Lord doesn't accept anything else. It says, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread alone, or bread only, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Lord Yahweh. All right, doth man live, right? Remember, Yahushua quoted that, okay, when he encountered Satan, okay? Remember, all right, with Yahushua, what he said, and so you understand what his mindset was, okay? Check this out. This is Matthew 4, and I started one. It says, then Yahushua led up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. Okay, so Yahushua went into a wilderness, and when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. All right. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. Okay? It says, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High. All right? So that was Yahweh's response. Okay? Because he came, the tempter came when he got weak, when he was vulnerable. Right? His flesh is weak, and his flesh, your flesh, it'll bow out to anything, just to be saved, just for pleasure, just to be full or whatever, But Yahweh's statement was, hey, man should not live by bread alone. And that's what we have to understand in the times that we're coming into. The Lord's going to afflict us to purge us, to keep us in line, all right, with what he got and what he accepts. Okay? So next precept is, this is rock. Of course, this is old but goody, all right? And I'll just cut to the point. Or you know what? You can't really cut to the point. You got to kind of read into it. So Sirach 2:1, this is my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure it, and make not haste in time of trouble. And this is going to be what we're going to have to live by. We're going to have to set our minds right. We're going to have the right mindset in the time of trouble. And we can't make haste. We can't make that decision that ultimately is going to lead to your downfall, because you want to fulfill the lust of the flesh, It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. And this is what we want. We want to be increased at the last end. Right? So we want to trust and lean on Yahweh. That's Isaiah 10:20. All right. We want to lean on God and not our oppressors. All right. Because I don't know about the rest of Israel, but I know the elect, we don't want no parts of this place no more. This is over with. I'm done with it. I'm through. I'm just done. I'm sorry, but I'm done with this place. We got to live in it, but man, we're done with this place, man. Because this is a poisonous trap. This is a poisonous system, man. Every which way is a death culture. All right. They don't pay homage to the Lord. They don't have respect of the Lord, Okay. So it says, whatsoever is brought upon you, take cheerfully. Why? And be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. But why are you supposed to be taking this cheerfully? Because you should know what the Lord is doing for you in the spirit. Right? So what's coming is not the end all be all. It is for many, but this is your time to shine. This time was made for you. Right? These times that we're coming into were made for you. All right? Okay? And the Lord is what? He's fighting for our cause right now. All right? And right now as we speak, as I speak, okay, it says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Okay? For acceptable men, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. All right? And so that's where we at with it, Acceptable men is going to be tried in that furnace of adversity. Okay? So let's see here. What else do I have? Okay. Lamentations 3 and 32. That's probably one of my favorite chapters in this book. Lamentations 3 and 32. And it reads, it says, but though he cause grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitude of his mercies. Yeah, so we're going to be grieved because of the things, because of the, comforts and the things being taken away. All right. But guess what? He has compassion. All right. Okay. And he's going to show mercy. All right. For he doth not afflict willingly nor grieve the children of men. Right? He don't do it for no reason. It's a reason behind it. Okay. To crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth, to turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause. The Lord approveth not. So he don't approve none of those things. Okay. That's what Esau does. Esau does that. But the Lord ain't doing it for that purpose. He's doing it for the purpose of cleaning you out and getting you right and keeping you in order. Right. And so that's just a mindset, you know, in the times that we're coming into. Okay. Acts 14:22, it says, confirming the souls of the disciples, all right, and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. All right. And so we're going to go through it to get to it. All right. And 2 Ezra 7 explains it. Then, you know what? It says, basically, there ain't no other way around it. All right. Okay. See, I can start at 7. Point being in 10, verse 10. 2 Ezra 7:7, it says, the entrance thereof is narrow. Hold on. Let's start. 7:6, it says, there is also another thing. A city is builded. That's the kingdom. And set upon a broad field. All right. And is full of all good things. Okay. That's the kingdom of heaven. All right. Which is going to be an everlasting kingdom. Okay. It says the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, right? And on the left, a deep water. Okay. And so this is also the reason why the Lord is keeping this in straight. This is also why we're being punished and afflicted, so that we may stay on that path. It says in only one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. Okay. Right. You can't, you can't, in other words, every man for himself has to go through this. All right. Okay. Can't nobody hold your hand. Everybody has to, deal with it. Verse 9, it says, if the city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, right? If he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? That's right. So if we never pass the dangers that's set in front of us now, all right, which a lot of people are kind of downplaying and lightly esteeming what the Lord has set up, Esau being the wicked and him coming down with great wrath. It's for a purpose on both sides. The duality of it is that the Lord is using Esau, that's Psalm 17:13, as a whooping stick, to try to put certain mechanisms and devices in the world to try men and to really try them to the point of overthrow. Okay. All right. But not only is he doing that, but he's bringing Esau into judgment, the ultimate judgment. Okay. All right. So there's a dynamic of things, and you got to understand that. It says, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? So you can't receive this inheritance unless you go through these evil things. All right. You gotta be granted, you're gonna be granted, all right, favor to get past it if the Lord see fit. All right. So verse 10, and it says, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. We have to go through. This is our lot. Okay. For us to receive the kingdom, we're going to have to go through hell and high waters. Okay. All right. But that's fine, because All of these things, all of this is doing is making us perfect for him, the perfect mind, the perfect, and wanting him. All right. Like we never wanted him before, but we didn't have that same energy in the wilderness, you know. But that faith, right? The true love and faith, he's gonna bring it out of us in the times to come. Okay, his true worshipers. All right, his true worshipers. So that's pretty much it, Lord willing, it was edifying. Until next time, I say shalom. All right.